There is a silent code that governs success, and almost no one knows it. It is not written in sacred books or hidden in vaults, but rather engraved in the minds of those who dared to train until their dreams became inevitable. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying this code and discovered that it can transform any ordinary person into someone extraordinary. What you are about to hear today is not a theory, it is a map, and if you follow it, each step will take you closer to the life you imagine, and further from the life you fear. But pay attention, this journey begins in the most unexpected place. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of his time, did not begin life surrounded by luxury, but by hard work and limitations. Early on, he learned that true wealth was not only in the money he accumulated, but in the way he trained his mind to see opportunities where others saw barriers. This mindset led him to share his secret with Napoleon Hill. There is a method, a set of principles, capable of transforming anyone, as long as they have the courage to apply them with discipline and faith. Napoleon Hill dove into this discovery and spent more than 20 years studying leaders, entrepreneurs, and inventors who followed this same path. He realized it wasn't about innate talent or luck, but about a practical formula repeated tirelessly that shaped the mind and prepared the person to receive what they sought. A plan as simple to understand as it was powerful to execute, provided the person was willing to pay the price of daily training. What you are about to hear today is the same method that transformed ordinary people into leaders and millionaires. If applied, it changes not only the financial situation, but also the way you see the world. By the end of this video, you will have a plan to put into practice today, and the decision to follow it will be the first step toward your own transformation. If this content is already making sense to you, like, comment, and share so more people can awaken to this truth. Success rarely happens as a magical moment that suddenly changes everything. It is more like the work of a craftsman. Each strike, each adjustment, each repetition builds something solid and lasting. Napoleon Hill understood that it is not enough to wish or dream. You must train your mind and body to act consistently until the right behavior becomes part of who you are. Just as a musician repeats the same scale until their fingers move on their own, those who seek success must cultivate habits that function without conscious effort. Modern neuroscience confirms something Hill already knew intuitively: the brain changes with practice. With each repetition, new connections are strengthened and old limitations weaken. This is called brain plasticity, the mind's ability to reshape itself according to what we train. This means that even if an action feels difficult or uncomfortable, today, constant practice can make it natural, automatic, and even enjoyable. This principle is powerful because it takes success out of the realm of the improbable and places it in your hands. No matter where you come from, your history, or the mistakes you've made, constant training is the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become. And it's on this bridge that many give up, not realizing that each step is also a brick placed in building a solid future. Napoleon Hill observed that all great achievements begin with a desire so intense it stirs the body. He called this a burning desire, a goal so clear and passionate that it becomes impossible to ignore. It's not a scattered wish list, but a precise, specific vision that compels a person to wake up earlier, persist longer, and endure difficulties that would make others quit. When this inner fire is lit, it works as an invisible engine that pushes you forward, even when fatigue and fear try to hold you back. To ignite such a goal, you cannot think about it superficially. You must describe it in detail, as if it were already happening, and feel the emotion it provokes. The practical exercise is simple, yet powerful. Take pen and paper, and write a goal that just by reading it makes your heart race. The more specific, with numbers, deadlines, and deep reasons, the more your mind will align to pursue it. Burning goal is not just a plan for the future, but an emotional anchor in the present. It turns ordinary days into strategic steps and problems into tests of endurance. Those who carry such a goal do not need constant external motivation because the flame is already burning inside. And when fueled daily, that flame begins to open doors that once seemed locked. For Napoleon Hill, faith is not just a religious feeling or vague hope for the future. It is a conviction so firm that doubting becomes impossible, even when results have not yet appeared. This invisible force fuels courage, maintains focus, and sustains action in moments when any ordinary person would give up. Those who cultivate this faith don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step, because they trust each step will appear at the right time. In the realm of practical spirituality, faith works like a creative energy. It not only shapes how we see circumstances, but also influences our decisions and behaviors, attracting opportunities that seem like coincidences to outsiders. Hill taught that cultivating unshakable belief is like planting a seed in fertile soil. It germinates in the unseen before appearing to the world. A simple technique to strengthen this faith is to combine visualization and emotion. Before sleeping, close your eyes and mentally see your goal already achieved. Feel the joy, gratitude, and confidence as if it were reality. This practice sends a clear message to the subconscious that the path is already set, helping the mind find ways to materialize what was felt. When this invisible force becomes part of you, obstacles stop being walls and become steps. Napoleon Hill believed that the human mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it repeatedly will sooner or later bloom. To's suggestion is the conscious act of choosing the seeds, words, images, and emotions you want to cultivate. Through this process, limiting beliefs can be replaced with empowering convictions until they become a natural part of how you think and act. Thomas Edison, for example, never saw himself as a man who failed, even after thousands of unsuccessful attempts at creating the light bulb. He would repeat to himself, in different ways, that each attempt was simply one step closer to the solution. This intentional repetition shaped his subconscious, keeping him focused and resilient. Hill knew that this mental pattern was no accident, but the result of constant autosuggestion. A practical exercise to apply today: create a daily mantra aligned with your burning goal. Write it in a positive way, in the present tense, as if it were already reality. Repeat it aloud every morning and night, feeling the words as if they were absolute truth. Over time, your mind will begin to accept this new programming and act accordingly without conscious effort. Creative imagination is like an invisible bridge between what exists today and what has yet to be created. Napoleon Hill saw this ability as one of the most valuable tools humans possess, because it is through it that ideas capable of changing destinies are born. He believed that when the mind is trained to seek solutions, it begins to receive insights that seem to come from nowhere, but are actually the result of a deep mental process. Many fortunes have started with a single, seemingly simple idea. An inventor who spots an everyday problem and creates something to solve it. An entrepreneur who notices an opportunity ignored by others. An artist who transforms a feeling into a masterpiece. These inspirations do not appear by accident. They are provoked by a state of mental focus and openness that creative imagination provides. To stimulate this skill, set aside moments of silence to think about your goal and ask yourself, what would be the next best step I could take? Don't force the answer, just keep your mind receptive. Ideas may come in the shower, on a walk, or even upon waking. When they do, write them down immediately. This practice, done consistently, creates a continuous flow of possibilities that can lead to extraordinary results. Napoleon Hill observed that in a world full of information, it is not the one who knows a little about everything who advances the fastest, but the one who goes deep into strategic areas. specialized knowledge is the key to becoming indispensable. In your field, it works as a competitive edge, while many are satisfied with knowing the basics. Those who master a specific knowledge become a reference and naturally attract opportunities. A simple example: imagine two financial consultants. One knows a bit about everything, but superficially. The other specializes in financial planning for beginner entrepreneurs. When a client with that profile seeks help, guess who will be chosen? That is the power of specialized knowledge. It creates a direct bridge between what you offer and what the market most needs. To apply this in practice, make a list of 3 skills you want to master in the next 12 months. They can be technical, strategic, or even behavioral. Create a plan to learn and practice each one, investing time and, if possible, resources. By becoming a specialist, you not only increase your value in the market, but also strengthen your confidence and authority, making the path to success more predictable. Big dreams lose strength when they remain only in the imagination. Napoleon Hill argued that to turn a goal into reality, you need to break it down into clear, measurable steps. Organized planning is like a map. It shows where you are, where you want to go, and which paths to take. Without it, you risk wasting energy in the wrong directions, confusing movement with progress. Productivity science shows that big goals become achievable when divided into daily micro-habits. Reading 10 pages a day may seem small, but in a year, it becomes several books read. Saving a set amount each week may seem slow, but it builds significant wealth over time. Small steps, when planned and followed with discipline, have a powerful cumulative effect. A practical way to apply this is to create a written plan with specific dates and tasks. Don't rely solely on memory. Write it down, review it, and adjust when necessary. By doing this, you transform a vague idea into a real commitment to yourself. And as you execute each step, you see that success is not the result of luck, but of a set of coordinated actions repeated until they produce the desired result. Napoleon Hill noticed that successful people do not linger in endless doubt. They make decisions quickly and clearly, and stick to them until new evidence prompts them to adjust course. This agility prevents mental energy from being wasted, allowing focus to remain on what truly matters. Indecision, on the other hand, is like quicksand. The longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to get out. Making quick decisions doesn't mean acting impulsively, but trusting your judgment after considering the essential information. When execution comes into play, consistency becomes the deciding factor. Small daily actions, when added together, have more impact than occasional large efforts. It is the habit of moving forward, even if the step is small, that builds solid results. To put this into practice, choose today a decision you've been postponing. It might be an investment, a habit change, or a step you know you need to take. Define what you will do and start acting immediately. Inertia is the greatest enemy of progress, and breaking it now can generate momentum that will transform not only your day, but the course of your journey. Persistence is the thin line separating those who only dream from those who actually achieve. Napoleon Hill saw this trait as the secret ingredient behind every success story. It's what keeps a person moving when results are slow, when doors close, and when doubt tries to settle in. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It's the conscious decision to keep adjusting and trying until you find the path that works. Many of the names we admire today got there because they refused to stop. Think of inventors, athletes, or entrepreneurs who faced consecutive failures before victory. Each failure, rather than being a full stop, was treated as a necessary chapter in their story. Hill reminded us that persistence doesn't remove challenges, but transforms our relationship with them. Instead of enemies, they become teachers. To cultivate this fuel, it helps to create a system of daily reminders of why you started. Write down your deepest motivations and reread them whenever your drive wavers. Reconnecting with the vision that moves you renews your strength to keep going. Over time, persistence becomes part of your identity, turning obstacles into springboards to the next level. Napoleon Hill believed that when two or more minds unite in harmony, a third invisible force is born, the mastermind. This collective energy goes beyond simply exchanging ideas. It's as if each person involved gains access to an expanded intelligence, capable of creating solutions and strategies that would hardly emerge alone. That's why great leaders and entrepreneurs always surround themselves with people who think big and act with purpose. The mastermind works as a results accelerator because it combines perspectives, experiences, and different types of knowledge. A simple meeting between people committed to common goals can bring clarity, open doors, and even reveal shortcuts to reach a goal faster. Plus, mutual support strengthens confidence, especially in moments when the journey feels more difficult. To create your own mastermind, choose people who share similar values and are committed to growth. They can be business partners, friends, or mentors. Set regular meetings to discuss goals, challenges, and new ideas. Over time, you'll find that this network is not just support, but a true source of creative energy that pushes everyone further. Napoleon Hill understood that creative energy is like a powerful river. If left without direction, it can disperse into many streams and lose strength. But when channeled, it moves mills, generates light, and transforms entire landscapes. This energy is fueled by desire, focus, and the ability to keep attention on what truly matters, avoiding waste on distractions that lead nowhere. Science shows that when we have a clear, engaging goal, the brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter of focus and motivation. It's this chemical that makes us feel pleasure as we advance and keeps us tied to the task until it's completed. Hill intuitively knew that directing creative energy required mental discipline, consciously choosing where to place your thoughts and refusing to let them wander into irrelevant tasks. To apply this principle, define a single priority goal for your day and give it your best energy in the first hours. Turn off notifications, remove interruptions, and dive deeply into what you are doing. By building this habit, you not only move forward faster, but also train your mind to be a channel for achievement, capable of turning inspiration into concrete results. For Napoleon Hill, the subconscious is like a silent vault that stores everything we think, feel, and repeat. It works day and night without rest and influences our decisions more than we imagine. When we feed this vault with clear images of what we want, combined with intense emotions, the subconscious begins to act as an invisible ally, finding paths and connections that we wouldn't consciously see. Intuitive inspiration is the moment when this inner work manifests in an almost magical way. It's that idea that appears while you walk, take a shower, or wake from a deep sleep. Hill taught that it's possible to trigger these subconscious responses with a simple habit. Formulate a specific question before going to sleep related to your goal. During the night, the mind works to find clues, and often the answer comes in the morning as a clear insight. To use this power, write down your main goals and create questions that stimulate creative solutions. Keep a notebook next to your bed and record any idea upon waking. By cultivating this dialogue with the subconscious, you begin to access a constant flow of answers and guidance that seem to come from a greater source, but that were, in truth, waiting to be revealed. Within you, Napoleon Hill identified 6 main fears that paralyze people: fear of poverty, criticism, illness, loss of love, old age, and death. These fears act like invisible chains, preventing bold decisions and suffocating opportunities before they can even be born. The danger is that they often don't appear explicitly, but as excuses, procrastination, or self-sabotage. Overcoming fear first requires recognizing it. When it is named, it loses part of its power. Hill advised replacing the focus on fear with action, because movement creates courage. By taking steps, even small ones, the mind begins to understand that the threat is not as big as it seemed. With that, confidence grows and fear shrinks. A simple exercise is to write down your biggest fear today, and, next to it, note one concrete action you can take to face it immediately. It could be a phone call, a conversation, studying, or any move that breaks the paralysis. By repeating this process, you turn fear into fuel to move forward until you realize it was never an invincible enemy, just a test to prove you are ready for more. For Napoleon Hill, positive thinking is not about denying problems, but choosing to interpret each situation in a way that generates strength rather than paralysis. The habit of keeping the mind focused on solutions creates a mental state that attracts opportunities and strengthens the ability to act. It's like tuning a radio. When you change the frequency, you start picking up different messages. And in the case of the mind, those messages are ideas, connections, and possibilities you didn't notice before. Hill observed that people with this habit tend to recover faster from setbacks and find value even in failures. It's the salesperson who, after a rejection, thinks about what to improve for the next visit. The entrepreneur who, faced with an obstacle, sees it as a chance to create something new. This mental pattern is cultivated, not inherited, and it strengthens with daily repetition. A simple practice is to start and end the day listing 3 good things that happened, or 3 reasons to believe in your own progress. Over time, this deliberate choice shapes the subconscious to seek what works, not what fails. The result is a mind trained to find opportunities, even in the most challenging circumstances. Napoleon Hill knew that great changes start with small but unbreakable commitments. The 30-day challenge is a personal test of discipline and focus, applying all the principles learned, without interruptions, until they become part of who you are. 30 days may seem short, but they are enough to create new habits and weaken old patterns that no longer serve you. It's like planting a seed and watering it daily until the first leaves appear. During this period, every action ceases to be a simple task and becomes a conscious act of transformation. You train your mind to align with the goal, direct, creative energy, maintain unshakable faith, and practice persistence. Progress may be silent at first, but it grows cumulatively. And before you know it, you've changed, not just in what you do, but in who you are. The proposal is clear. For 30 days, live and breathe your burning goal. Read it daily, visualize it, repeat your affirmations, follow the plan, and remain faithful to the decision. At the end of this cycle, something deep within you will have changed. Train until you become, and you will become. Everything you've heard up to this point is not a distant theory. It's a call to live fully and intentionally. Life doesn't change just because you wish it to, but because you decide to. Feel, act, and persist every day as if your goal were already a reality. When you live deeply, every step becomes sacred, and every challenge becomes fuel. Whether in finances, relationships, or personal growth, the principle is the same. Align your mind, your faith, and your actions, and the world around you will begin to respond. This is true freedom, not just financial freedom, but the freedom to be the owner of your destiny. And that freedom begins when you choose to commit to what matters. If this video spoke to you, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. The world needs awakened people. And perhaps you are one of them. Write here in the comments, "I will train until I become," so that this declaration becomes your first visible step toward transformation. The time is now. The path is yours.